What happens when a woman decides she will no longer shrink? Not her voice, not her style, not her body. That's the question that launched a revolution, and the answer is one name: Nadia Aboulhosn. She's not your typical fashion influencer. She didn't come from industry connections. She didn't fit the mold. She wasn't marketable by traditional standards. But none of that stopped her. In fact, that's what made her unstoppable. Nadia didn't wait for permission to belong in fashion. She kicked down the door, made her own rules, and built an empire rooted in rawness, rebellion, and real curves. So how did a Lebanese-American girl from Florida become one of the boldest voices in plus-size fashion? Let's find out. Because her story, it's as unfiltered as her Instagram captions, and way more inspiring than any runway walk. But first, let's go back to the very beginning. Nadia Aboulhosn was born on September 13, 1988, in Orlando, Florida. Growing up in a conservative Lebanese-American household, she often felt like she didn't quite fit the image of beauty projected in the media. Blonde, thin, polished, that wasn't her. And the magazines she flipped through only reminded her of it. She wasn't just curvier than the girls around her. She was louder, funnier, and more unapologetically herself. But it took time for her to recognize that all those things that made her different were actually her greatest power. At a time when girls were starving themselves for thigh gaps and filters, Nadia started embracing thrifted looks, layering clothes no one else dared to wear, and crafting her identity, one oversized denim jacket at a time. And from that confidence, a blog was born. In 2010, Nadia started a blog. At first, it was just a place to post outfits. But this wasn't your average #OED blog. Her blog was a battlefield for body acceptance, self-expression, and fierce sarcasm. She mixed high fashion with urban edge, rocked bodycon when the world said, "Hide your belly," and dropped captions that made people spit out their coffee. She didn't beg for attention. She demanded space. Quickly, her blog took off. Major platforms like Refinery, 29, 17, and Complex noticed. So did thousands of women who finally saw someone who looked like them and didn't apologize for it. Nadia proved that you could be curvy, stylish, and respected in a fashion world that told her to pick only one. Soon, the camera came calling, not for blog pics, but for high fashion covers. Let's be clear, Nadia didn't get into modeling because agencies were scouting her. She got in because she made herself impossible to ignore. Her fearless energy and DIY shoots earned her a seat in the fashion elite, on her own terms. She posed for Vogue Italia, Nylon, and Paper magazine. She modeled in campaigns where she styled herself better than the stylists could. She walked New York Fashion Week, not as someone's token plus-size model, but as her own damn brand. Nadia didn't just model clothes, she modeled a mindset. Confidence is the most couture thing you can wear. But she wasn't done just wearing clothes. She wanted to make them. In true Nadia fashion, she didn't wait for the fashion world to catch up. She designed her own line. From utilitarian jumpsuits to curve-hugging dresses, her clothes were built for women who wanted to own every inch of themselves. She partnered with brands like Edition L, Boohoo, and Lord & Taylor, bringing edge and elegance to plus-size racks. But she didn't water anything down. Her designs were sexy, strong, and specific, just like her. For Nadia, making clothes was never about trends. It was about creating what didn't exist for the bodies the fashion world ignored. And what better way to spread that message than with a selfie and a savage caption? Today, Nadia has over 500,000 Instagram followers, and it's not because she plays the influencer game. She doesn't curate a perfect life. She posts the messy, the hilarious, the real. One day she's modeling a latex trench coat. The next she's dragging toxic beauty culture in a caption. She speaks openly about mental health, toxic relationships, self-worth, how to say a no without guilt. Her audience doesn't just like her style, they trust her voice. She's not trying to be aspirational. She's trying to be honest. And in the age of filters and fakes, that's rare. But behind the filters, who really is Nadia Aboulhosn? Nadia doesn't share every detail of her personal life, and that's intentional. But what she does share reveals a woman who's done the emotional work. She's a fierce believer in therapy, boundaries, and healing from trauma. She openly discusses outgrowing people, walking away from toxicity, and learning to love herself deeply, not just physically, but emotionally and spiritually. She lives between LA and New York, often traveling for work and creative projects. She's fiercely independent, highly introspective, and refreshingly honest about her journey, not just as a model, but as a human. Let's break it all down with the facts and stats you came for. Fact. Details. Full name: Nadia Aboulhosn. Birth date: September 13th, 1988. Nationality: American Lebanese descent. Birthplace: Orlando, Florida. Height: 5 feet 3 inches, 160 centimeters. Body type: curvy/plus size. Eye color: hazel. Hair color: brown/often dyed. Profession: model, blogger, designer, influencer. Instagram: @Nadia Aboulhosn. Brands collaborated: Edition L, Boohoo, Lord & Taylor. Net worth: yes, $500,000 to $1 million. Signature style: urban, fierce, unapologetic fashion. But her impact isn't measured by numbers. It's written in legacy. Nadia Aboulhosn didn't follow a blueprint. She wrote her own rulebook. She taught a generation that curves aren't flaws. Confidence is louder than critics. Style has no size. She redefined the fashion landscape for Middle Eastern women, for plus-size bodies, for outsiders who thought they had to change to be accepted. She didn't want to be influential. She wanted to be authentic. And that's exactly what made her a legend. She didn't ask for a seat at the table. She built her own and brought extra chairs. So, what can we all learn from Nadia's journey? Nadia Aboulhosn isn't just a model. She's a movement, a walking, talking, curve-hugging reminder that you don't have to shrink to be seen. You just have to be brave enough to take up space. Her story proves that flaws can become features. That style is an attitude, not a size. And that authenticity is always in fashion. So if Nadia's story sparked something in you, red heart, like this video to show love for fearless creators. Speech balloon, drop a comment with a part of her journey that inspired you most. Bell subscribe to Curve Chronicles for more bios that celebrate curves, confidence, and unstoppable women. Because here, Curve Chronicles, where every curve tells a story.